yesterday, I think 3 days ago, before she comes, I have this question, which you said if we have some problems with the other one, we can switch on. Like you are talking about the IDT, the web intelligence rich client, and then the BI launchpad. What are the differences? And yes, and what do they do? Do we use all for the universe and for reporting?
Yeah, information design tool IDT is the creation of is a tool which we use for creation of universe. E-fashion is we are consuming that. I mean, it is one of the data source to create reports. Now in our web intelligence examples activities, we are consuming e-fashion universe, right? So it is also created in information design tool by someone for training purpose. So likewise, we can create our own universe based on the business requirement or project requirement using information design tool. That is about IDT or information design tool, which we use to create universe, which is in newer version of universe design tool. So that is about IDT. And when we come to BI Launchpad, it is like a repository, which we use to create the reports and store the reports as a place to store the reports or users, like personal folders, public folders. You could see, right? You have created your own folder, and we can create our own reports and save them. That is a BI Launchpad. It is like we access Launchpad through server, that is through web server, like a web URL we give username, password, and our authentication details, and we can consume online. For that, we don't need to install anything. But for information design tool, we have to install information design tool in our system. As we are using remote desktop here, it is already installed. But if in our project, we might need to require to install that. So that is a part of, let me show you. So in your project, they'll give you the path for, sometimes they will give you this path for this folder, SAP Business Intelligence, and they will give you the access for this, and you will download this, and then you will install. At the time of installing, it will ask which tools you want. If you see here, BI4 client, if you give this folder, these are all the tools of under this. So, but we don't use all this in our project. Based on our requirement, we have to check on information design tool, web intelligence rich client, or UDT. So whatever we need, we will check those options and then we will install. These are tools which we install. But for this Launchpad, we don't need any tool to install. Rather, we use this URL. We can use this URL and we can give our username and credentials, and we can log in if those username and credential is already created in this BI Launchpad by admin. So this is about using it through Launchpad. Sometimes just in our, mostly in our projects, we will use this through URL only, Launchpad only. But the same functionality for web intelligence, it consists of all these tools, right? But for web intelligence, we have one more standalone tool, that is a web intelligence rich client. Even you can create Webby reports using this tool or this browser. So what I told you is, if you have any issues connecting to this universes and creating two reports in this Launchpad, you can try accessing using this tool and give the same system name, username, password once, and you can create the reports there itself, and you can save to enterprise. If you create something there, and if you are saving to enterprise, those reports will be stored here only. If you are storing in your favorites or in folders, those reports will be stored here only. You can consume this from the Launchpad also. So if there is any connectivity issue or drivers issue, you can switch to any of this. Like you can use web intelligence in this BI Launchpad or Webby Rich Client, because as we have two options in our remote desktop, we can use anything. That is what I told. Is it clear now?
Yes, clear. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Did you try yesterday creating something?
Yes. Yesterday I tried. I followed. Yes, I did to I did. I started. What do you call it? The project. I did a connection, and then I did a data foundation, and I
Good,
went on
good.
to do the business layer.
Okay.
Yes.
And for your practice purpose, I'll tell you one more thing. Like you can create your own, and if you want to just to understand something also, you can use already created universes and you can see how they did, what are the formulas. Just for our analysis purpose, you can practice them. I mean, you can check them. You might not able to export them and use in our reporting, but you can see the underlying technical things there. You see here. I just connected, and this is the repository that we use. If you see here, these are the connections. If they, some are connected to HANA. If you see, these are all the list of connections that are there in the repository. So if you just want to check how they did, what are the parameters, or if you just want to see, these are the some system username and password. So you don't edit, but you can see like how they can create it. This is about connection, and these are the list of universes already there. So if you want to see the eFashion universe, don't edit and save, but you can just you can retrieve this universe in your folders. Just right click on this universe, retrieve universe to your some sample project. I just mentioned here in this BO demo, just for your learning purpose. So if you see here, I imported under this BO demo. Now we got this. See the date. This is today's date, 21st 8. So we just imported, and we can see this connection, data foundation, business layer, which are used for creation of this universe. So if you double click on each of one of the eFashion DFX, you can see like what are all the tables, how they joined. If you double click on this join, you can see what is the formula. Likewise, if you don't really create also, you can just see all these things. BLX, if you see, this is a data foundation layer. BLX is a business layer. So as you have imported the already created well-versed universe, you can always expand this and see this formulas. And if you have any doubt, if you see here this formula, they mentioned aggregate aware. So you might not able to understand what it is. So what you can do is you can Google it. What is @aggregate aware in web intelligence or universe? There they will clearly explain what it is, what is the priority of it. If you see this function has some definition in it, some logic in it. So this year itself is coming from multiple tables. So one is aggregated at year level, one is aggregated at quarter level, but the last one is normal table, which we are getting from our database. It is not aggregated, it is a simple table. So based on the priority, it will first, if we dragged any year object under sales revenue, it will consume from this year. Otherwise, if you drag quarter, it will take from this year. So if you Google it also, you will understand better. So if you want to see these formulas, how they created, store, state, for everything they have used aggregated tables. It is not required every time, but you can just check what is it. This aggregated in most of the universe, I mean, interviews, we will be asked about this question. What is aggregate awareness? How can we use it? What is the purpose of it, like this? So promotion Y, and this object is created with this formula. So promotion flag. So is it S or no? Are we using this object product for promotion or not? So that is coming from promotion lookup table. This is the table name and this is an object name. So in that way, you can do some research. You can understand exactly what it is going on. And if you have any doubts with the formulas being used, you can Google and learn. It is always it's like in the training we give all basic things and what is fundamental things, but based on practice and research and studying, we'll know more topics in detail. So it is about this, like if you want to see anything in detail, you can import them and see. Double click on whenever I double click on CNS, it is showing about CNS detail. If I click on DFX, it is showing. If you see, it is highlighted efashion.dfx and data foundation is being visible here. And efashion.blx, this is the business layer which we use to create our objects, dimensions, and key figures, measures. So this is about this is in this way efashion is created, and we are consuming this same efashion in our web intelligence report. So that if you remember, these are the folders that we are seeing in our reporting layer. These are the objects which we are using for our reporting purpose. So now I think you got some clear picture.
Okay, thank you.
Advanced report writing. Here we will see concepts about how we can create logical groupings of data using the if function, how we can change the calculation behavior of measure using the if function, how we can apply custom sorts, how we can perform filtering using ranking. This if function is like it is used for logical grouping. If function can be used to obtain data which does not exist physically anywhere in the database. You can generate half-yearly report from available quarters. That means if you have only quarter-related information, but still you can generate a half-yearly report from available quarters. That means if it is not available from the database also, we can create our own dimensions and our own grouping from reporting side, and we can consume that in our reporting. For example, if object name in list value 1, value 2, value, then new group we can do like that. So I'll show you with examples. It is also can be used to change the calculation behavior. A report designer can use this feature to decide how a measure should behave based on different conditions. Like if object name is something is equal to this one, then display value to display if true, display like this. Otherwise, if it is a false, display in otherwise. So that is about if function. Like if for example, what we can do here is if quarter for a half yearly data, as we discussed, H1, H2, maybe half year, first part of the half year and second part of the half year. But we only have a quarterly related data. So what we can do is if quarter in list Q1, Q2, then H1, otherwise H2. So in that way, we can write a formula which is not directly available from the database, but we can create our own formula using if, and we can group. Ranking is like it allows to look at the largest numbers and our smallest numbers in a report. Like filtering, ranking hides the data you do not want to display. Like if you only want to see top 10 regions or bottom 10 regions, in those top 10 states or bottom 10 states, in those scenarios, we don't need to show the data for all the states. Instead, we can apply ranking like we do the filtering. So top 10 will be appeared in the report. So ranking is applied on measures. For example, sales revenue, quantity sold, or margin. Top 10 means top 10 sold products or top 10 searched products. Like that, we can it is applied on measures, not on the dimensions. So it is an example. Ranking can be performed on data contained in tables, crosstabs, or master cells in a master detailed report. This is the ranking window that we can see, top or bottom, and how many do we want, top 3, top 5, top 10, or bottom 10, bottom 5, based on sales revenue, ranked by state, on which dimension perspective we are seeing, and what is the value that we are checking for the top. So this is a ranking window that appears when we trying to perform ranking in web intelligence.